I hope that copy is circulated. First of all, I would like to thank Darshan, Pratibha Madam, coordinator of this course, for inviting me, and as well as GSBTM for promoting such a very nice activities for the betterment of students, so that they can compete for national level examinations. Right? What I am going to discuss today is related to understanding of antibiotics, antiseptics and disinfectants. Keeping in mind the idea behind conducting such type of workshop, what I have done, I have already previously set questions related to this topic which has been given. For each and every passing slide you will get questions out of it. You try to solve by yourself or by understanding. Key is not given for the time being. Right? So I think everybody has that particular MCQs. Time period was very less. I could prepare only 30 questions, but more, my commitment is that more questions also I will give. Right? So we'll start with the basics understanding related to this topic, and I will make it sure that it justifies the overall understanding, the basic understanding related to this very important topic. The name itself indicates antibiotics, antiseptics and disinfectants. All are as such, suppose if I want to justify this in a single word, they are control agents. They will restrict organisms. Specifically our focus will be related to microorganisms. The understanding, the overall, it may happen sometimes that whatever you learn, whatever you try to focus, whatever you study, whatever you understand, is as such, at first go, it seems that it is very easy. But when questions are asked out of same thing, things become difficult. Because the purpose of MCQ is to confuse you. Right? So if you are not focused in the lecture, in the understanding, then definitely you will get confused between four options which are given to you, which are provided to you. So first and the basic requirement to clear national level examinations, where answer is already there, but it is very difficult. Where answers are not provided, it becomes very easy for you to write down pages and pages related to any topic which is given to you. But when it is very specific, you are well aware answer is there, but it is very difficult to identify that answer sometimes if our basics are not clear. So keeping in mind answering those questions or finding out the answer which is already provided in your question paper, you should be very clear regarding the fundamentals factors, basics factors. As I have said that antibiotics, the first and the most important point we need to discuss, we need to understand what are antibiotics. And you will come across, because I have framed questions accordingly as per the slide and in that order, you will come across that how confusing questions are asked, how to confuse you, right? So that is very important. Coming to the definition of this antibiotic itself, as you see, it is a microbial product or a derivative that kills. Susceptible is very important. Microorganisms or inhibits their growth. So two important points are to be kept in mind. It either kills or inhibits the growth. Be clear regarding that thing, right? And the most important term here is susceptible. Those who are susceptible, those who are sensitive. They are not considering here resistant organism. Now a question can be drawn on this basis also. Will it be effective if the organism has a specific resistant gene? Will the definition remain same? No. The other terms, before we get into details regarding the other aspect, antiseptics and other agents are concerned, first of all we'll try to understand as such that what actually this thing means. The second important term which we need to understand today as a part of control agent apart from antibiotic is antiseptics. What are antiseptics? They are chemical agents applied to tissue to prevent infection by again killing or inhibiting pathogens. Try to focus on each and every word, because finally questions will be drawn on the basis of that itself. Right? Killing again or inhibiting pathogens. This chemical agent is applied to tissues. Those which are applied to tissues are antiseptics. Antisepsis is the prevention of infection. What the difference between these two, antiseptics and antisepsis? Prevention of infection or sepsis itself. And what is sepsis? The presence of pathogens or their toxin in blood and other tissues. So this is how overall it justifies the antiseptics, antisepsis and sepsis. Why I have stressed on all these terms, not just given you this definition itself, because I want that you should be very clear with each and every word. If you are clear in that part, then only you can find that hidden answer out of all those 4 options provided. It's not like that I have drawn each and every question, right? I have tried to do so to some extent, but there may be many more questions coming out of the single slide itself. And that's why understanding of each and every term is very important. Are you getting my point, what I mean to say? Right? So this is, sepsis indicates the presence of pathogen, antisepsis prevents that, and for that antiseptics are required. Right? One thing is process and another is the product or the substance itself, which is very much essential. Disinfectants. So as we move ahead, then it may happen that if you are not clear, then confusion may arise. Now disinfectants, again an agent, usually chemical, that disinfects. Normally it is employed only with inanimate objects. I hope the difference between now antiseptics and disinfectants are clear. Right? There it was tissue, here inanimate objects. Disinfection is the killing, inhibition or removal of microorganisms that may cause disease. It usually refers to the treatment of inanimate objects with chemical. We do this in routine in laboratory while working, right? With the help of phenyl, ethanol, alcohol. Then routinely such type of disinfectants are used to clean the surface inanimate objects. Right? Another important point after understanding both antiseptics and disinfectants, antiseptics are generally not as toxic as disinfectants. Why? What is the reason behind this? Why comparative? What I mean to ask that why they are more toxic disinfectants and why antiseptics are kept, or toxicity of that antiseptics are kept comparatively minimum or less, what we will, as they will be applied to the living tissues, otherwise it will harm those living tissues, living cells, living organisms. Inanimate objects, it is fine, right? So that is the difference between those two. You should be very clear regarding that. I hope this point is clear, right? Where they are applied, clear-cut differentiation, distinguish between, suppose if I ask what is antiseptic, what are disinfectants, where you use, a viva voce question, a very simple viva voce question. You should not get confused. You should be very clear that antiseptics, living tissues, always you should be diplomatic generally. Because sometimes it may happen that that chemical may be common. Right? Chemical may be common. Suppose 70% ethanol. Doctors also use 70% ethanol while giving you injection. This is living tissue. He removes all those organisms because he is going to puncture them, and it should be disinfected. Removal of those pathogens. Otherwise, they may gain entry inside our bloodstream. In certain cases, there are common things, but generalized understanding says that antiseptics for living tissues and disinfectants for non-living or inanimate objects. Am I clear? Right? And because they are to be applied, all are chemicals as such, but because they are applied on living tissues, they are generally not as toxic as disinfectants. Got it? Next important terminology in overall understanding this three major important topic: sterilization. Sterilization is complete removal, complete or destruction of all viable microorganisms. Sterilization, everything. Complete destruction will happen if you go for this. This is process. Sterilization is a process used on inanimate objects. Right? How to sterilize living organism? That will be killed. Generally, now see, these are very tricky things. Just try to imagine sterilization, non-living things, but you are removing those living creatures which may contaminate things. You are removing them. Right? Have you seen animals are autoclaved? Nobody will be doing like this, right? Used on inanimate objects. I want to sterilize flowers, papers, culture tube, media, right? Fermentation media. But they might have those living organisms, they are to be killed, and that's why it is complete removal as well as destruction of all viable organisms that defines our term sterilization. Another important, now confusion will go on here. Sanitization. It is very closely related to disinfection or the process of disinfection. In sanitization, the microbial population is reduced to levels, reduction in population. Up to what extent? To levels that are considered safe by public health standards. Whatever the public health standards are there, if your sanitizer, you might have used this term, right? Handy, it is available now in market, sanitizer. Right? What are the uses of sanitizers? Hand sanitizers you have used, right? The basic objective is that you clean your hand and you save water. Am I right? And we will talk about resistance also, because finally extensive use of soap, which has some antibacterials, will be released into the environment. Water will be wasted. Simple sanitizer. Some volatile component is added, right? Some active ingredient is there. It is formulated in such a way which is not as toxic, because directly you are using on hands. So you cannot wash hand with that phenyl bottle or phenol which is used for cleaning the floor. Do take care. It might be more toxic comparatively, because it is intended to use for cleaning those floor. Right? For living tissues, different terminologies are there, different products are there, its functions are different, and accordingly we need to use. We should be very clear regarding this aspect. Right? So it is as such closely related to disinfection, but in this process, in this sanitization, the population is reduced to levels that are considered safe by public health standards. It may vary, but accordingly, if it proves, then approval will be given that product can be marketed and can be used. Depends on the marketing. Right? Treatment aspect. Another important point to get into. Whatever the things you apply Either it will inhibit the growth of the organisms or kill. Inhibit means it will restrict. It will remain as it is, because see, these organisms are very dangerous. First thing, why they are dangerous? Because they cannot be seen. They are dangerous. The things which is invisible is dangerous. Always it is dangerous. Second, they have very less generation time, high growth rate. So if somehow they gain access to the nutrients which are present into the environment where they are, they will immediately grow in the numbers which may be out of control sometimes, and that becomes very dangerous. Single organism, fine, will not. To establish infection in healthy human host, number is also very much important. By accidentally, suppose you have consumed contaminated food, in that also your defense system definitely will work, but you should be healthy enough, your immune system should be powerful, then you can fight with that organisms. But if it is not, and the organisms are more in number comparatively, then your immune system will not be able to cope up with that, and you may fall ill. You are already infected, but as symptoms will not be appear, we will not say that you are ill. ક્યારે ખબર પડે કે આપણે માંદા પડે? જ્યારે સિમ્પટમ્સ આવે ત્યારે. We may be infected. So we are continuously exposed to that environment. Right now also some organisms might be gaining entry inside our system. But that organism will not survive as our defense system is very powerful. So regarding the inhibition of the growth or killing, specific terminology are used, specific terms, prefix and suffix are used, which will define, which will justify. That single term will make you aware that what will be its mode of action. The first is chemical that do not kill but rather prevent growth. Usually their name will end with static. Inhibition. So for inhibition, static terminology is used. In Greek, this is the meaning of static is to stand, causing to stand or to stop. In case of microorganisms, they will not grow, they will not multiply, they will not divide. Right? It will remain as it is. As I have said, numbers are very dangerous. Suppose if 1 or 2 organisms are there, fine. But suppose 200 are there, it becomes dangerous. Suppose that 2 organisms are in that conditions which is favorable for their growth, they will grow because of less generation time, high growth rate, they may be dangerous. But if some agent is applied that will restrict growth, they will not grow, they will not divide, then it is fine. You are comfortable. You are restricting the growth of that organism. Second important terminology is the chemical that kill organisms, often have the suffix "cid", CID. Killing, Latin to kill, cid, fungicide, bactericide, bacteriostatic, static agents. So sometimes it may be asked that suppose what will be the mode of action if bacteriostatic is applied? 4 options to confuse you. You need to focus on that static term, right? That indicates it will restrict the growth of that organisms. Coming back to antibiotics and now disinfectants. Difference between these two. Disinfectants and antibiotics. What are the major difference between these two? Very much important, basic, you need to learn that. Otherwise it will be very difficult. Suppose if it is an extempore type, right? Without showing this slide, suppose if I ask you, then it may happen that you are not sure regarding how to differentiate between these two. What are antibiotics and what are disinfectants? And that's why I thought that this point is very important. It should be noted down. Disinfectants are different from antibiotics. That is the first and most important point. Though both kill germs and both are considered to be antimicrobial. This is a common characteristic. What is common between these two? Again, MCQ can be generated. Right. Again, you can generate a question by your side. if you are clear regarding, these are the common aspect, right? Both can kill germs, both are antimicrobial in nature against the living system. Generally, now this is a basic difference. Generally, disinfectants destroy many components of microorganism at once and are not safe to ingest or inject. This is the major difference between these two. Right? So what are disinfectants? How you justify that? What is its mode of action? How it destroys? So if you are not aware, only you will say it restricts the growth or it kills the organism. How? Destroy many components at a time. This thing does not happen with antibiotics. Antibiotics, on the other hand, usually disrupt one or the few parts of the organism and have relatively little toxicity to the body, and that's why we have exploited this ability of the organisms to produce secondary metabolite to prevent those pathogens invading our body. Antibiotics, fermentation technology, large scale production of antibiotics. We are very much dependent on antibiotics, right? In our life cycle, I think આમાંથી એવું કોઈ નહીં હોય કે જેને એન્ટીબાયોટિક નહીં ખાધી હોય. We have ingested. Have you any one of you have ingested disinfectant? Not as a label, disinfectant itself, right? So this clears very simple terminology. See how in-depth understanding is essential to crack examinations. Right? Before that, it was just simple antibiotic, disinfectant, antiseptics. But now, as you are moving more inside it, more and more knowledge will be generated, more and more fundamentals will be cleared. You will be confident enough to identify that answer. Right? This training is to identify that answer. Answer is given to you. Identify the correct answer. 4 answers are given, 3 are wrong. But it may happen sometimes in MCQs. We set MCQs, right? All are correct. Which one is the nearest? Which one is the best one? This is again a tricky part of MCQs. All are correct answer. All justifies things. But which one is more near to the question which is asked? I hope you are also focusing on the MCQs which I have provided to you, right? Just try to keep that template with you and try to answer that. Have you, means that will justify, if it is clear, if you are in one go, if you are able to identify that answer, means you are clear regarding fundamentals are concerned. And if you need to think, then rethink regarding this basics. If something is very clear in your mind, you are bound to identify that correct answer without any confusions, because questions are set to confuse you, to discriminate who has better ability or more in-depth knowledge of fundamentals and basics. They are never difficult as such, they are basic questions, but you need to identify that, you need to differentiate all those things. So clear differentiation between disinfectants and antibiotics, right? One which cannot be, it is not safe. It cannot be, it is not safe, right? It is not safe to ingest. And second is relatively little toxicity. See, every coin has two sides. Antibiotics do have side effects. We'll come to that point also, right? But relatively means in relation to disinfectants. I am discussing this point in relation to disinfection, right? So that means both this one. Little toxicity to the body. Another point, most disinfectants are comprised of different ingredients including water, surfactants are also added, and very much important, fragrances. This complete what? Different ingredients. Water is one of the base because it is a universal solvent, right? It is generally used. Surfactants, surface active agents, as well as fragrances. That is for marketing. Right? Each of us has different liking, and on the basis of that, they do research. Generalized liking is there. Okay, this flavor will be comparatively fine. They will be using it. So this complete self-stable solution are called formulations. Complete formulation, because see, it has many ingredients now. It is formulated. Many disinfectants are also excellent cleaners. That is the another advantage or the unique characteristic of disinfectants. Within a formulation now, in formulation, the chemical that kills microorganism is referred to as active ingredient. Question can be asked, what is active ingredient? Right? I have a formulation. Anyone will ask you, suppose you are doing research, I have a formulation which helps in this and that. Okay, fine. Because you need to carry that active ingredient for a longer period of time. That will decide the expiry date. Expiry date is expiry date of any product. You are well aware regarding expiry, right? It depends totally on how long your active ingredient will remain active. That will determine the shelf life. Because without that component, it is ineffective. It is useless. What is the use of that water and detergent and fragrances if active ingredient is not there in your product, in your disinfectant? So this is again a very important terminology or a point in a what is formulation? It can be asked, what is formulation? And formulation, within the formulation, chemical that kills microorganism, it is only one chemical which is responsible for killing those organisms. Regarding disinfection process is concerned, which is referred to as the active ingredient. Right? I have tried to form MCQ out of this also. You'll come across that. So suppose by referring that, if you feel that it is easy, fine, your fundamentals are clear. But still you are confused, means you have many doubts regarding the understanding of this. When disinfectants are used to kill microorganisms on the body, now see, everything is now getting mixed. When I am using disinfectants, or when disinfectants are used to kill microorganisms on the body, they are referred to as antiseptics. You need to take care of concentration now. It should not be toxic because you are going to apply on the body. And that's why I told you, no, ethanol, it is two-way, right? Doctors are also using that ethanol, right? They are just rubbing that skin, right? Disinfecting that area, and then they are puncturing with the help of needle. When active ingredients are used on hands, they are referred to as hand sanitizers. Hand sanitizers, you are well aware with this. So that active ingredient, see, it should not, just try to read now sanitizers, its formulation, and some directions, some indications which are given. Right? You cannot rub your sanitizer in your eyes. And that's why clearly it is mentioned hand sanitizer. કોઈ એવું કર્યું છે આમ કરીને પછી આમ મને મોઢું સાફ કરી નાખ્યું કે ભાઈ I am clearing my face. See how absurd it will look like, and that's why clear cut mention is there, hand sanitizer. Active ingredient when used on hands, not on overall body. It is hand sanitizer. But if active ingredient is your body, antiseptics. Right? I always recall Boroli. खुशबूदार एंटीसेप्टिक क्रीम बोरोली. हैव यू सीन दैट एडवर्टाइजमेंट? पहला આવતી હતી, રાઈટ? બહુ ફેમસ એડવર્ટાઇઝ. ગ્રીન ટ્યુબ આવે, ખુશબૂદાર એટલે કે એક માર્કેટિંગ કરવાનું, એની ખુશ્બુ સારી હોય છે બીકોઝ આઈ નીડ ટુ એપ્લાય ઓન બોડી, રાઈટ? એન્ટીસેપ્ટિક ક્રીમ, એન્ટીસેપ્ટિક. ત્યારે ખબર નથી એન્ટીસેપ્ટિક એટલે શું છે, and the product name itself. So it is very important that you should be well aware that where certain types of or this type of things are to be applied. Right? So thorough knowledge, thorough understanding only will make you aware that okay, these are disinfectants, these are antiseptics, these are sanitizers, and they are used accordingly, and that's why they are named accordingly, and that's why we are trying to understand the clear-cut, in-depth meaning of all these components. Got it? A few potent active ingredients can also be used in high concentration to sterilize medical equipment, such as surgical endoscope. This is one of the example, without heat, because there heat will destroy may be the nature of that particular component. And that's why in certain cases, because see, many components are heat labile, we have learned in microbiology. You might have learned in microbiology, right? So they are to be either filtered, suppose solutions, vitamin solution, filtration is there. Or you might have heard the term cold sterilization, right? Heat sterilization, applying heat, cold sterilization, where radiations are used. In fact, food industry, these things are well known. So formulations that sterilize medical equipment, sterilization of medical equipment are called cold sterilants. So medical equipment can be sterilized by this only, not by heat. Right? So again MCQ can be formed, right? Surgical endoscopes I want to sterilize, or surgical endoscope can be sterilized by which of the following component, in which one of them will be cold, other will be hot, which are very known to you. And suppose this terminology you are not aware, you will never attempt this because you are not clear, or by chance it may happen that it is correct. Got the point? Right? Clear regarding all these hand sanitizers and regarding the cold sterilants. Very important aspect, potency of disinfectants. It has been described from more potent to less potent, and it is applied accordingly. This disinfectant again has a specific active ingredient, right, which is more potent. Now see, because surgical instruments, very important, otherwise there will be infection, hospital acquired infections, you have heard this. So they are, and they are inanimate, right? So that's why it is at which side? Because living tissues directly are not involved. I need to sterilize those instruments. So I will make more concentrated, more effective my active ingredient. Then sporicide, one which side indicates killing. Sporicide indicates killing of spores. Spores are resistant bodies, right? So they are comparatively less than the previous one. Hospital strength disinfectant, comparatively less potent as compared to sporicide and cold sterilant. Broad spectrum disinfectant, generalized use in routine, right? You need to keep it mild, otherwise it will create problem. Routine use. This is cold sterilant is restricted use in hospitals, right? You will never found cold sterilant in our house, PG, right? So it can be more potent because, and there we don't want to take any risk. At home, at places, mild disinfectants are used, right? While sweeping floor, I think you are well aware regarding that how 2 or 3 drops or 2 caps are introduced, whether phenol or any brand name, right? By cleaning the floor, having phenol base, whatever. So they are comparatively mild. Sanitizer, yes. We have talked regarding hand sanitizer. So it starts from cold sterilant to sanitizer. Potency of disinfectants, more potent to less potent.
Why is it so?
Because the effectivity, see, many times it is very much essential that formulation and how it will get absorbed. Certain times it may happen. Now see, regarding medicines are concerned, right? Many says finally everything is made up of chemicals, right? So it should not be reactive. Chemical reactions should not be taken. Water is a universal solvent, right? It will get easily. Now there is no specific as such mechanism for transport of water inside the cell. It will go as it is. And something, suppose if it is dissolved in water, along with that it will absorption, very much essential. And that's why certain things are. Medicine, suppose many believe that it should be taken with juices. Water is the best medium to take medicine. Formulations are there to support that, to remain that particular thing active as it is. And that's why sometimes some solvents are recommended depending on its mode of action. It is very important. In many cases, there are wrong beliefs also, as I have said, because you are learning microbiology, you are well aware of it. But see, as I have said, many will believe that it should be taken with juices. Because we cannot tolerate that bitter taste or something like that, we try to cover up. But then it becomes sometimes dangerous. Suppose juices, suppose if it contains acids, ascorbic acid, citric acid, right? Suppose lemon juice, citric acid. It may be that medicine, we never know. And to minimize that bitterness, that smell, right? Coated capsules are available. Something which will dissolve inside. Or in many cases, the alternative is again intravenous injections, directly, more effectively. So all these things, whatever it has been said, suppose if it is not scientifically proved, they are just belief.
Sir, it has been given in one of the research papers.
That is fine. The outcome of research, okay, that we can accept it. Okay. In this case, Jacques and Trefel later showed that the body metabolized dye into sulfanilamide. It was not that, it was metabolized, and that metabolic product finally was responsible for the protection or killing of metabolisms. And for this work, Domag received Nobel Prize in 1939 in physiology or biology. He was not able to determine that thing. He only knew that Prontosil red will restrict the growth of this outcome. That's all. But then later, this is the outcome of research now. The second part, this is the outcome of research. That body metabolized that dye to sulfanilamide. We'll come to that sulfanilamide separately, which has its specific mode of action against metabolism. Okay? The most important concept. Right? Who discovered penicillin? Penicillin was initially discovered by Ernest. This MCQ will kill 90% of this thing. Because with this scientist, Fleming will also be there, always he will be. Because he is famous. Fleming only rediscovered that. Right? So make it sure. This information is very much essential. Was initially discovered in long before 1896. One and the only one true antibiotic, what we call, because then antibiotic era came into existence. First antibiotic was penicillin, but the first scientist was Ernst, not Fleming, right? Then he accidentally discovered in September 1928, 1896, 1928. Yeah. Because see, they are not able to justify. In science, they need to prove. Something is written. Suppose I do something in my laboratory, I do research, but I am not getting to that core of it, but it is there. I have done. And it will remain as it is. Suppose if I am not publishing it. If I publish that something is done, then you will do again research, again searching for those things, trying to justify my work, whether my work was correct or not. It might be wrong. Or you will support my work and you will get into more deeper understanding. That is what happened in case of penicillin also. It is not only Alexander Fleming. We will see. Nobel Prize was shared by 3 other prizes. But this person, Ernst. But when this is there in your examination, in a competitive national level examination, paper setter will make it sure that you should write Ernst and not, because he is there. If he is there in option, make it sure. Right? Just don't write blindly. Suppose Fleming is there and other scientists are there, but he is not there, then you need to write Fleming. Do make it sure. Right? Because we make it sure that you are confused. You should be confused with this. So, he correctly deduced that the mold notatum produce a diffusible substances which he called penicillin. Antibiotic penicillin name was, because from penicillium species it was given penicillin. They purified. He was not able to purify. Fleming, right? Floren and Chain, 1940. Purified penicillin and injected also into mice infected with streptococci or staphylococci. Almost all mice survived. That clearly justified the true antibiotic nature of penicillin. Human trials were also equally successful at that time, 1940s. We are coming back to World War, where extensive use of penicillin was done, and now it is discontinued. Right? Do doctor prescribe us penicillin? Fleming, Flore and Chain received Nobel Prize in 1945 for their discovery and purification combined, because purification was done by these two. And without purification, how trials can be taken? It is not possible. So their work is also equally very important. This is what we call it as a research. Right? Work of Fleming was important. It is well known. It was well known at that time that Penicillium notatum. Fine. But then in laboratory, they purified it, they extracted it, they did that trial, and finally it was successful. And that's why the Nobel Prize was given to (1940). Immediately 44, right? Regarding the streptomycin is concerned, you are well aware, regarding the work of Waxman, announced that he and his associate had found a new antibiotic called streptomycin, produced by Actinomycetes streptomyces graecis. And everything is known now, everything is well aware regarding the process, purification process, well published. So he was the only one to take Nobel Prize, right, in year 1952. He was awarded Nobel Prize. Regarding the general characteristics of chemotherapeutic agents, history apart, this was the historical, because that is very important, and you will find such type of questions related to history, related to scientists, related to their prize, right, Nobel Prize specifically in examinations. A chemotherapeutic agent must have selective toxicity, that is for sure. Number first and most important characteristic a chemotherapeutic agent should possess. It must kill or inhibit the microbial pathogen while damaging the host as little as possible. Impossible, negligible, very less, or nil, it is not possible. It may be as little, negligible. Because when you introduce some chemical inside your body, it has some or the other effect. It may not be visualized, but it is always there. So if you want to develop, if you want to prepare a chemotherapeutic agent, therapeutic agent for therapy, right, for treatment, then it should inhibit, it should kill. If not killing, it should inhibit, because numbers are very important, as I have said. Pathogen while damaging the host as little as possible. This is very much, this is condition. Then and only then your chemotherapeutic agent will be considered as an effective chemotherapeutic agent. Otherwise it will fail in trial. Nobody will use it. It cannot go for large scale production. That understanding should be there in your mind as a student of biotechnology and microbiology. Right? Minimum toxicity, right, and maximum damage to that pathogen, the organism which we need to destroy, which we need to eliminate. The degree of selective toxicity may be expressed in terms of therapeutic dose and toxic dose. Very important to understand the importance of these two, therapeutic as well as toxic. Therapeutic dose, the drug level required for clinical treatment of a particular infection. Now try to understand this thing. Very important to understand. I have seen many times students get confused in both this and then understanding therapeutic index. Dose, drug level required for clinical treatment. I want to treat. Treatment indicates complete removal, not even traces. Suppose 100 highly virulent pathogenic organisms are there, they should be killed. I am least concerned with the amount, the concentration, the quantity. That is therapeutic dose. Toxic dose, the drug level at which the agent becomes too toxic for the host. You need to create balance between these two. Drug level, level of drug. We are talking regarding again same thing, chemotherapeutic agent, right? Drug level at which the agent becomes too toxic for the host. Because you are going to apply, that is chemical which is to be injected, it should not be toxic. If it becomes too toxic, it is known as toxic dose. We'll come to that point. There comes the therapeutic index. The therapeutic index or TI is the ratio of the toxic dose to the therapeutic dose. The larger the therapeutic index, the better the chemotherapeutic agent. Right? It is the ratio of toxic dose. What was toxic dose? Drug level at which the agent becomes too toxic for the host. And therapeutic dose was drug level required for the clinical treatment. Right? So it may be more, but this should be comparatively very less. Now index is toxic dose divided by therapeutic dose. So if it is to be higher, then therapeutic dose should be minimum. Required clinical treatment means complete removal in very less dose. Then only your index will go high. The larger the therapeutic index, the better the chemotherapeutic agent. I hope this thing is very clear to you. Right? Toxic dose and therapeutic dose. In minimum, because it is at the upper side. The other names of therapeutic index are TI, therapeutic window, safety window, and also sometimes it is referred as therapeutic ratio. All these things are again to confuse you. Okay? So that means if you feel that this will confuse us, means it has more potency. It is more potential question to be asked in the examination. Because in maximum cases, right, above 60% of the cases, you will be confused between 2 or 3 answers or options which are given. Got this point? Shall we move ahead? Different terminology for different individuals. In animal kingdom itself, for animal studies, therapeutic ratio is LD, lethal dose, divided by ED, that is effective dose. Right? This is the calculation of therapeutic ratio. For humans, TD, toxic dose, divided by effective dose. Right? So this is the calculation. 50% of the, you are well aware regarding the definitions of this. You might have learned in, I think, PYBs, right? Lethal dose and but both of these, and these are the various terminologies and their meaning: effective dose, toxic dose, lethal dose, therapeutic index, and therapeutic ratio. Short forms, terminology which are used. So you need to remember this formula, and the punchline is larger the therapeutic index. Therapeutic index is ratio of toxic dose to therapeutic dose. And a reverse na kari. એટલે બધું ઊંધું થઈ જશે, right? The larger the therapeutic index, the better is the chemotherapeutic agent, right? So it will be indicated. You will come across when I will give you references, right? When you will refer reference book, you will come across this index sometimes. So you need to judge, you need to recall. If there is a comparison between two chemotherapeutic agents, right? Then you need to judge that which one is the best. Now see, this is again MCQ, right? Chemotherapeutic agent A is having therapeutic index this, while B is having this. Which one will be more effective? Which one is the better? Right? Then all those 4 answers confusing. So if you are clear regarding this, the larger the index, the better is the cure. It is very easy answer. Right? You can immediately spot that correct answer because you are very clear regarding this fundamental. Got it? The undesirable effect on the host or side effects are of any kinds and may involve almost any organ system. So that you need to take care. Side effects can be severe, right? Chemotherapeutic agent must be administered with great care. And that's why therapeutic index calculation is very important. Without that, you cannot go forward. Right? So that's why it takes time. Right, from discovery to clinical trials, approval and production. Right, it has been said that it takes around 12-13 years. Right, suppose today you have discovered one new antibiotic, when it will be marketed, it will take 2 months. You need to check, you need to go for clinical trial, you need to go for approvals from the regulatory bodies, you need to submit your data, you need to get license, and then it will be marketed. So huge investment, right, $1 billion. And then it will come to, okay, you can use. We blindly take now whatever which is available in market. Suppose doctor prescribes, take this antibiotic for the treatment, you take it. Therapeutic dose is decided by doctor, 500 milligram morning, evening, something like that. Yes? That is not, this is in general I am writing. We blindly trust doctors. That is what I meant to say. We never check that what they are prescribing. That is what I mean to say. Right? They will say that, okay, one doctor will say for same treatment you need to take morning, evening. One doctor will say you need to take 3 times. That is his judgment. How many of us go for complete blood report, profile, isolation of organisms, and then that agent is prescribed? On the basis of symptoms, he will give you antibiotics. Antibiotic can never be taken without identification of the organisms. And that's the problem related to resistance is concerned. We will come to that point. But we know. Culturing at extreme case only. On the basis of symptoms, he will identify, he will prescribe antibiotic, and what we will do, antibiotic course is of 6 days, 7 days, right? After 2 to 3 days, we will feel better, we will discontinue, and that is the most dangerous thing we are doing. We will discontinue. And then by some or the other ways, you will liberate this resistant organism into the environment, because treatment was not completed. Whatever which was prescribed was not up to the mark, right? So all these points are to be kept in mind. Just let me know if you want to take, because I am given 2 hours, right? You need to justify topic, but if you want break in between allowed है okay एमने if they want ना, so मैं एमने कीधुं છે. I don't want any break. अच्छा એવું છે એટલે મેડમે ઇનડાયરેક્ટલી કહી દીધું કે કોઈ બ્રેક લેવાનો નથી. ઓકે ફાઇન, થેન્ક યુ. In between you can just go through that paper so that I think you are getting questions, right? And successfully you are able to attempt that. Okay, that will help you in increase your confidence. Shall I consider like this? That will help you. અને કાલે mock test તો કરી જ ને પાછી એને. So that will help you, right? Another important point regarding this, slowly we are getting into the classification or more basics related to this aspect. Drugs vary considerably in their range of effectiveness, and that can be broadly classified into two: narrow spectrum drugs and broad spectrum drugs. Effective only against a limited variety of pathogens, that's why narrow, and broad, different kinds of pathogens. So there is a basic difference between these two. Drugs can be classified based on general microbial group they act. If they are effective for bacteria, antibacterial; for fungi, antifungal; virus, antiviral; protozoa, antiprotozoa. And on the basis of that, they are classified. So it is very much essential that it should be identified that you are infected by which organism first of all, and accordingly it will be prescribed, right? Antibacterial drug will not work for treatment of virus, treatment of infection caused by virus, right? Because they are designed, they are prepared, they are made on the basis of that, right? And the basic classification, as I have said, is narrow spectrum and broad spectrum, right? Each and every part has their own limitations, has own pros and cons that we will try to